The CEO suddenly realized all the shops in town were named after her assistant sitting right beside her. That made her start to suspect the assistant who'd worked with her for 3 years might actually be a secretly wealthy heir. Turns out, the whole town was owned by his family. Margaret was a high-powered newspaper executive making millions a year, and Andrew was just her assistant. He had to follow her around all day and get up early every morning to grab her favorite coffee. If he got it wrong, Margaret would make him stay late to make up for it. Andrew had worked under Margaret like this for 3 years and barely took any time off.
And I need you around this weekend to help review his files and his manuscripts.
This weekend?
You have a problem with that?
No, I just my grandmother's 90th birthday, so I was gonna go home and it's fine. I'll cancel it.
Everyone in the office couldn't stand how bossy Margaret was, but because she was so good at her job, the boss always cut her some slack. But this time Margaret made a serious mistake. She was so busy working, she forgot to renew her visa. Now immigration was planning to deport her. Margaret was in shock. She didn't want to lose her career. Just then, Andrew walked into the office, and Margaret got a wild idea.
And there's, well, I think there's something that you should know. We're getting married.
We are.
Getting married.
The boss was definitely shocked by the news, but he still said he was happy for her. As long as they get married quickly, Margaret would be allowed to stay in the US. Before Andrew could say anything, Margaret dragged him straight back to the office.
I'm not gonna marry you.
Sure you are. Bob is gonna fire you the second I'm gone. Guaranteed. That means you're out on the street alone looking for a job. That means all the time that we spent together, all the lattes, all the canceled dates, all the midnight Tampax runs were all for nothing, and all your dreams of being an editor are gone.
Andrew froze. He hated how demanding she was, but after 3 years of hard work, he couldn't afford to lose this job, so he agreed. They made a deal to end the marriage as soon as the legal period was over. Next they went to immigration to register for marriage, but the agent immediately sensed something was off. They clearly didn't act like a real couple. The officer warned them, if this marriage was only for a green card, they'd be committing a federal crime. Andrew started to panic, but then pulled himself together and told a sweet story. He said after so many late nights at the office, he'd fallen hard for Margaret. Their performance barely passed the interview, but the agent warned them they'd each be questioned separately in a week, and if their stories didn't match, they were both going to jail. Outside the building, Andrew said the risk was too high, so he made a new demand.
Ask me nicely.
Ask me nicely what?
Ask me nicely to marry you, Margaret.
Surprisingly, the once untouchable actually, she gave in to her assistant just to keep her green card.
Sweet. Andrew,
I'm listening.
would you please, with cherries on top, marry me?
This sudden shift made Andrew feel pretty good. Margaret then agreed to go with him to his hometown. They arrived in a small town, but soon Margaret noticed something strange. All the local stores had Andrew's last name on them. Then they reached a massive estate, and that's when it hit her. Her assistant of 3 years was actually a hidden billionaire. Inside the luxurious mansion, Andrew's family welcomed them warmly. The night, sharing a room with his boss for the first time, Andrew was incredibly nervous, and Margaret felt the same way. But as time went on, something between them started to change.